Hello and welcome back to episode 7 of the 124th Italieri fire truck conversion to a Northern Ireland patrol vehicle of the generic type. Now, as you can see, we've had the invasion of the white plastic. Yes, I've been scratch building again. Now, the reason why these have suddenly materialised overnight is simply because I wanted some more detailed photos of the grille or the fencing that goes underneath the front bumper, and started looking at other photographs and thought, hold on a minute, they've got more on theirs than I've got on mine, so I've had to quickly do a little bit of revision and kind of go in a generic kind of way. It's not exactly one particular vehicle. Now, I also have to do a thank you and a shout out to Clarky, who has reliably informed me that these little storage cupboards, one side had jerry cans with petrol in and one side had cans of water in. Now, I'm kind of presuming and using a little bit of logic here that this one would have been the water closet, so to speak, and this one would be the petrol closet, on the grounds that there's the petrol tank filler there. That's my logic. Think I'm about right, but you know, it's yeah. I could be completely wrong. So, how have I made all of these? Well, let's start down here because it's the same for this as it is on the other side. The white framework at the rear or at the back is made from 2mm right angle plastic strip, and all I've done is I've got my home printed guillotine chopping device, or as everybody calls it, Dave's chopper, out, and literally just split it down the angle and made up enough to make the framework. Then with some very small 0.5, I believe them to be, plastic rod, just cut a couple of small sections off to make the hinge ends. Made the door. The handle has been made out of 0.6mm copper, which has then been formed with one of these guys. Quite simple and quite easy. And then to make the handle or the opener is a little bit of 0.4 lead wire flattened and then very gently stuck on to another piece of 0.5mm rod, and that's what I've done for both sides, so they should roughly be about the same. This piece here is the mount, because I'm going to have this as a vehicle that was used more out in the border country, on the borderline where it's more open country. So this would have been a patrol vehicle, but it would also have been an emergency vehicle to get anyone to any medical need that they had. So a blue light's going to sit on there. I'm going to have a little bit of lead wire coming off either here or there, just to denote the power lead. This little bit that's stuck here that looks like it's not really going to do anything really is for the spare wheel, and then all I've got to do then is just make a plate to go across the top just to hold the wheel in place. So that's all that is. And then I've made the opening hatch so that they can get out and have a quick look No handle on this side because it would only open from the inside for obvious reasons. All the weld seams I've made with Tamiya epoxy putty, just rolled into some very long thin sausages and then just applied, and then used the edge of my scalpel blade to make the weld seams. So that is that. So I don't think I'm going to put any more on. When I've finished this part of the video, I shall stop it, and then I'm going to go off and paint these various bits that need to be done, and then go over them with the filter, wash, whatever you want to call it, that I've been using, just to colour match everything into what this is. And that will be that pretty much finished. I don't think there's anything else I can put on these to make them any different. I have got a dummy printout of this is just me just making sure that what I've printed out is going to be big enough and is not going to look silly. But that, once I've printed it out onto decal paper, will then go on there, and I'll do one for the other side as well. So that's the main rear of the Land Rover. I've still got the glass parts to go in here, here and here. Still haven't decided whether I'm going to block these out or leave them in. Don't know at the moment. We had another oops. This bit finally decided it was going to depart the rest of the model. So now just keeping that in a safe place, because that will go back in place, and it will hold in quite nicely, because it will have areas to fit to underneath the plate for the seats. So that is the rear, pretty much done to the point that I want it done so far. Once this has been painted, it will then sit on the rear part of the chassis, and then we can start getting everything together and having it as one vehicle rather than a handful of parts. Now, to carry on with the invasion of the white plastic, and we've had a slight invasion of photo etch as well. This has been kindly donated from a 1/24 Tamiya photo etch set you would use on one of the Scooby rally cars. So, but as I'm not using it, and this particular grill cut in half did the job for what I wanted. You're not going to see it once it's all buttoned up. The fact is, I know it's there, and I've just made some covers just to give the grill a little bit of protection so it can't get got at by anyone that was wishing to do harm. So, and then again, I've gone round with some epoxy putty and done the weld seams. So that's that. Oh, and I've done the I've done the light lenses, but they haven't, well, I say they haven't come out all right, but to be honest with you, I couldn't have got them any better if I tried, on the grounds that because this vehicle is going to be in a scrapyard because it's come to the end of its useful service, the lights have got a little bit weathered and they're not quite as bright as they used to be when it was brand new. How I've managed to do this, I've no idea, but I did use a Molotov, not Molotov, what was it? It's one of these. One of them. Liquid pen. Liquid chrome I've used. So that's gone in to the light lenses. I've still got to do them on the rear. Front windscreen frame has been painted, and probably will get another coat because it looks like it needs a bit more. The same for the frame. Now I think I'm going to have to change what the grille looks like, because I think it would have been black rather than the NATO green. So I'm going to have to do a little bit of deft painting to get that to black. The doors have been filled and it's all been cut back and rubbed down. I was going to respray these, but I think I'm going to leave this as it is, especially with these bits, and just put some oily steel in here just to give it a slightly aged metal look. We might be able to do a little bit of rusting, because I might have it with the doors that they've taken the doors off. For whatever reason, in the scrapyard, they've decided that they don't want the doors on anymore. They take them off. So, like, little scratches like that could actually start being little rust runs or something. And you got these little bits here. So, one way or another, that's kind of given me something else to work to. And maybe, you know, alright, I know it's a piece of copper, but it would be a bit of steel or something in real life. Maybe put some oily steel on there and then start some rusting on there. That's my thoughts at the moment. And oily steel all the way down here, and we can start doing some weathering fun and games on here and on here as well, and maybe do something under here. And that's the same for both of the doors. And this one is not as gnarly as the other one, so we could do something around here and down this leading edge, because that would be the leading edge that would be going up against the frame of the front windscreen. We can also do something down here and down here. So we've got plenty of options, and even still there's some here that we could play around with, and we could mess this up a little bit more as well, where the paint's naturally been worn away by me touching it and moving it around. So sometimes it's not always the right thing to go and paint everything and then start your weathering. This could actually turn to my advantage, and I might even lightly take a sanding sponge over the top of this just to see what comes off and where it comes off, and work with that. And I think that would really make these doors look quite gnarly and maybe a little bit beaten up by Mother Nature. So that's what we're going for on there. The wheels and the tyres have been attached, so they're getting closer. They look far too new and far too clean, but believe me, by the time I've finished with them, they won't look anywhere near clean and tidy and new out the box. The chassis, the front seat and the front end have been attached, and I've now given it a coat of paint. Still to go over with the weathering, but as I'm thinking of having the doors open, I'm now thinking this moss deposits, maybe start having a few little spots running along here and on the other side, and maybe in one or two of the seats, just ever so lightly, just to give it the impression that Mother Nature's moving in and having her way, so to speak. Right, that's that. So for now, I'm going to stop the video, because I'm going to go off and finish my cup of tea and get the airbrush going and get all these white parts, or white bits, white plastic bits, all painted up so they're all NATO green, and then get the filter stroke wash over them. And that will finish this off, ready for it to go on there. which I think will look quite smart when it's on. And then we can start thinking about, in episode 8, we can start thinking about weathering and how we're going to make this look somewhat gnarly, worn out, and yeah, just sort of right in the right place in the scrapyard, waiting for either to be broken down or someone to take it away and use it for spares for whatever. So that is where I am now, and for now I'm going to say that's it for this part. So you could say this is part A, so I'm finishing off, and I will see you in part B, which will be in, for you, several seconds. For me, will probably be maybe an hour or so. So alright then, see you later. Hello, welcome back to episode 7, part 2. Oh, excuse me. Here we go. Now, well, it's kind of now looking a bit more like a Land Rover. However, we've had one or two little mishaps in that the tiny little door release handles have gone walkabout. We've got an issue that I need to look into here because we have got quite a bit of a gap and we need to sort that out. We've got a touch of a gap here and we've got the same around the other side. So I've got to look into that. I'm not really that bothered. It's one of those things. I don't quite know why it's happened. As far as I can tell, I've got everything lined up, although I have got a bit of a gap there. We might be taking this off, maybe. Yeah, but then the grill's going to go on there, so that will keep that covered up a little bit. So, but all in all, progress is being made. Now I have used, where's it gone? Where have I hidden it? It's here. I've used some moss deposits. Now I don't know if you're going to see them, but I've put some along here, in there, and kind of where you got some of these scratches, I'll put some in lightly just to see if it would take. Can't say that I'm overly impressed, and I can't say that I'm overly disappointed either. I'm sort of a bit stuck in the middle, really. But overall, I'm really pleased with it. It's coming along. And as you can see, that one's gone completely. We've got a gap on this side. So this section is definitely in the right place because there was a couple of locating lugs on the chassis that had to line up, and that lines up at the back. So I've either cocked up here, or it is actually a kit problem, and it would have been a bit of a very tight fit if it was all in one. And a lot of this unalignment or disalignment would have been hidden because the doors are in there. So yeah, no, I'm pleased with it. I'm happy with it. We're still working with it. We're still moving forward, which is all good. Next thing is going to be the wheels, which is going to be really good. Yeah, okay, I'll go and get me coat. Yeah, and I've got to put the glass in the back, and I've kind of forgot to do it before I put that on the chassis. So that's going to be An interesting discovery. Might have to have the spare box out because, yeah, yeah. I think that's about as much as you can say, really. Yeah. I need to put a bit of a wash in here just to try and give this a bit of depth. I've still got to make the the cages that go around the light system, but yeah, it is getting to look like what a Land Rover should look like. So hopefully we'll have the wheels on over the weekend and get the glass in at the back and get the window frame in, because that should open things up a little bit. But yeah, it's not the best fit. In actual fact, it's probably not very good at all. When you look at it, it's a bit, yeah, I think we're gonna, yeah, not quite sure what we're gonna do. I think plenty of tea, custard creams, and a lot of thinking time, I think, before we carry on, because, yeah, I don't know what I'm gonna do. It's a bit weak and willing, but it's what it is. We're working with what we've got, and what we've got is not a lot. But I've done some of the moss effect over here as well. Yeah, and I've tried some of the, what was it? Decay effects on the side of the seat here. Yeah, further trials are needed, I think. Oh, no, I can't say that I'm displeased. Anyway, I'm gonna wrap this up, and then I can get this and the other part stitched together and get it all edited and then get it all uploaded. I don't think I'm going to do any photos, but I might do. I might do a couple and put them on at the end. And it remains for me to say thank you very much for watching. If you haven't done so, please subscribe. Don't forget to hit the bell for the notifications so that every time I upload some content, you'll get a notification. And in this odd and strange times, don't forget, stay home, stay safe and stay well. And as it's a bank holiday weekend, whatever you're doing, wherever you decide to go, i.e. back gardens, have fun, enjoy yourselves. And I'll see you in episode 8. Hello and welcome to episode 7's slideshow. Please pause the video as it scrolls through so you can have a closer look at the photos. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in episode 8.